Yeah, hello everybody. How is everybody tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. So we've reached, of course, the middle of the week, hump day. We're gonna give people a chance to get in here, so I'm gonna turn on some music for a moment while I do a couple of things. Then I'll be right back. So hopefully everybody. Anyways. Alright, I'll be right back. And I'm back here. Alright, as I said, we're just waiting on some people to get here. If anybody shows up. Anyways, Conan, the adventurer. Conan, warrior without fear. He's more powerful than any man. Spread his legend across land and sea. Conan, the mightiest warrior. His quest to undo the evil spell cast upon his parents by driving the evil serpent men back into another dimension and defeating their cruel wizard leader, Rathamon. Conan, the adventurer. Conan. without fear. He's more powerful than any man. He spread his legend across the land and sea. Oh, now. Get along, gang, get along, gang. Everyone's special in their own way. Coming about a get along, gang, get along, gang. Get up with a get along, gang. Even if it's okay. Get up with a get along, gang. Oh, get up with a get along, gang. Everyone is okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Anyways. All right. So as I said, we're just waiting for more people to show up. Ah, somebody at least came in and liked, so that's good. See, get along, yeah, get along, yeah. Get on with it, get along, yeah. Even if it's okay. Get on with it, get along, yeah. Hey, oh, get on. Go check something again real quick here. Be right back. More music to try to get it over. So, anyways, today we got quite a bit of crazy stuff going on. Anyways, we're past the 10-minute mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and start. Uh, First off, by saying what's on top. We got 8 articles tonight. One from Critical Blast, and then the other 7 from CDR. Um, got 4 comic-related articles, 4 anime-related. Plus the wrestling roundup and 15 history. Let's start off with the Mike Barron article from Critical Blast. So, talking about his launch yesterday, Private American. On the other stuff we're going to talk about, some Audible and comicsology news, as well as Carlos Pacheco showing us his the last of his art since um, being diagnosed with since his recent medical diagnosis. On the anime side of it, we got news surrounding, from One Piece, Spy Family, Pokemon. Um, so, with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and let's get started here. All right. So, anyways, let's go ahead and get started. Going over to the first article here. Article right here. All right, so let's go over this. Mike Barron spins new vigilante out of Thin Blue Line Private American. Submitted by Critical Blast staff on Monday, 9/26, so a couple days ago, at 3:12 p.m. So here we go then. Marvel Comics has emasculated their fan favorite vigilante, taking away the Punisher's guns and replacing his skull emblem to make him kinder and gentler for modern readers. Oh, brother. But fans of writer Mike Barron's acclaimed 5-year run on the street level Sentinel can revisit this no nonsense, gritty take on vigilante justice with Barron's newest hero, partially inspired by Jerry Conway's creation. Mike Barron's upcoming. Now, remember, RJ, of course, hosted the launch party for this yesterday on his channel. So, Mike Barron's upcoming graphic novel is Private American, and it marks a return to form for the Eisner-winning writer of brooding, complex, and often violent protagonist. Hot on the heels of his hilarious Florida Man comics, American Mythology, Private American is a Cuban American living on the U.S. southern border, whose frustration with the migrant crisis turns into retributive violence when its consequences touch his family circle. Wow, it sounds like a very interesting story. The title is also a riff on the moniker of Captain America, Marvel's beloved star-spangled nationalist, who has also been rewritten by modern writers into a hero that's grown ashamed of his country and seems to embrace a globalist approach to crime fighting. Barron's Private American is a slightly more pulp take on familiar themes. Oh, it's a little more violent, I think, is basically what they mean by that. Quote, I had been thinking about a vigilante character, unquote, says Barron. Quote, His purpose here is born of tragedy devoted to war, an unstoppable raging force who holds these cartels accountable. Unquote. Quote, Marcus Zamora was dishonorably discharged for killing a man who was torturing a dog. Unquote. Mike continues. Quote, and Marcus is similar in many ways to my take on Frank Castle. He protects the innocent while striking cold fear in the heart of ruthless killers. Unquote. While Barron wrote The Punisher longer than anyone at Marvel Comics, the character was created by Jerry Conway, who openly disdains the character's popularity now and opposes to the U.S. military and law enforcement's embrace of the Punisher logo. Yeah, I guess Jerry Conway is I guess drinking the Kool-Aid, I guess, right? And as always, guys, of course, if anything here catches your attention, feel free to comment or ask questions as need be. I need to make some lighting adjustments in here, so I'll be right back. All right, well, we're back now. Anyways, let's continue on with the article here. Let's see. Aaron hopes to discuss Punisher with Conway during a recently scheduled panel at Colorado Springs Comic Con, but Jerry was unable to make it due to health problems. Aaron isn't one to shy away from controversy. His thin blue line was about two cops trying to survive a riot-torn night in the city. Thin blue line readers will notice Private American fits into the same continuity, where the story's main antagonist is also deeply involved in this thriller. The Thin Blue Line struck a chord with readers and garnered rave reviews, raising over six figures in crowdfunding. Quote, I don't know why this is controversial, wrote Mark Darren. Quote, you're either for the rule of law or you're not. And quite honestly, we have a lot of people, particularly in the bigger cities, who aren't for the rule of law because they want to change the rule of law. And there are a lot of people in the big cities, a lot of liberals, who hate the idea that those who are more in the rural areas have just as much say as those in the city. They feel that because a lot of these people in the more urban areas, they feel we're a democracy, so it's majority rule. But in actuality, America is not really a democracy. We're a representative republic. And the main difference between the two is in a democracy, everybody would be. In other words, we would have no Congress, and everybody would be voting on every issue. Okay. The idea is that you you vote for somebody who represents in a representative republic. You vote for somebody to represent your community, and then they go to Washington, and they're supposed to serve you. You know, so yeah, you may have communities where you have more Republicans, and you have like rural communities where you have more conservative Republicans than you do liberal Democrats. And so they have as much say as those who are in urban cities, in cities where they have more liberal Democrats than conservative Republicans. And they, obviously those who are in more urban areas do not like the fact that, that the farmer in North Dakota or the rancher in Texas, the rancher in Oklahoma has as much say as the businessman in New York or the surfer in California. They don't like it. Next on Barron's calendar is another installment of his wildly successful sci-fi creation, Next, coming in December from Dark Horse, illustrated by Richard Monk, who collaborated with Mike on Private America. This fall, the two will be devoted to crowdfunding Private America and taking it directly to their readers. So, and that's what Mike has been doing. I know there have been a number of YouTubers who've been getting him on it, so getting the word out and all that. I know there was a launch party yesterday on you know at the launch party on RJ's channel like yesterday for this book. So anyways, finishing up the article here. Um, This is the Punisher that Mike Darren fans remember. Preview the graphic novel and learn more at PrivateAmerican.com. Here we go. So there we go with that one. Um, so now that we got that one done, that was our big, big story of the night, big editorial story of the night. Now we'll just move on to some more stories, articles. Okay, so the first of two exclusive stories, the first two of them here that are back to each other. See our exclusive here we're going to be going over. Exclusive. Audible's The Sandman shares Act 3 clip featuring Kevin Smith's Merv. Audible's adaptation of The Sandman has returned for Act 3 with a new clip featuring Kevin Smith as Merv Pumpkinhead, um, shared exclusively with CBR. Yeah. Article by Mira Jacob, published 12 hours ago. Give me a moment, I'm going to just step off the camera here for a moment. Hello, we got a third person here. Hello. Um, if you know anything catches your attention or anything like that, feel free to comment or or ask questions about what we're doing. If we're I can answer the question, I'll do my best to do so. Anyway, and if you can like and share this thing, give me some more friendly people here. That'd be appreciated as well. Um, anyway, so here we go. Act 3 of Audible's adaptation of Sandman has arrived. CBR can exclusively reveal a new clip in which Kevin Smith, Kevin Smith gets a monologue as Dream's grumpy jack-o'-lantern janitor, Merv Pumpkinhead. As teased by the Sandman creator Neil Gaiman in August, the third part of the Audible series continues audio drama based on the beloved dark fantasy comic. New installment covers the story arcs from the seventh and eighth graphic novel collection, Brief Lives and World's End. Merv's new team, um, as can be heard below, has him ranting about his job and the boss as he sets up a new wing in the library, only for the boss to materialize over here. Oh, isn't that always? And we've seen that trope a few times, haven't we? Boy, you pat down on your boss, and all of a sudden the boss, he turns around, the boss is right there. Now, that's funny, isn't it? Uh, continue on with the article here. Gaiman again provides the narration for the story based on his own original script, while Dirk Mad serves as director. Both are credited as executive producers in addition to Smith as Merv. Returning voice actors include James McAvoy as Dream, Kat Dennings as Death, Miriam Margolyes, um, Miriam Margolyes, Justin Vivian Pond, Jeffrey Wright, um, Kristen Shaw, um, Andy Serkis, um, Riz Ahmed, and Reggae John Page. Um, New to the cast are David Harewood as Destruction, Will Wheaton as Brent Tucker. Now, Will Wheaton is sort of known for some previous voice work. Obviously, Will Wheaton is known best as Wesley Crusher from Relations. He also played the voice of Aqualad in Teen Titans. And KJ Appa as Fred Wilson. First part of the Sandman audio adaptation launched in July 2020, covering the comic's first three collections, and became Audible's best-selling original of all time. In September 2021, Audible released The Sandman Act 2, which continued where the first left off and saw similar success. Sandman across new media. Audible's The Sandman is based on Gaiman's comic of the same name, which ran from 1989 to 1986 in DC imprint Vertigo Comics. The story centers on Dream of the Endless, eternal personification of dreams and imagination, also called Morpheus or the Sandman. When the audience meets Dream, he has been captured by human occultists, and the tale unfolds to show his escape from his long imprisonment. In brief lives, Dream joins his youngest sister, Delirium, to find their brother who chose to lead the Endless. While the audio drama of the Sandman moves forward, fans of Netflix live-action adaptation of the same comic are still waiting for a season 2 announcement. The star-studded cast, including Mark Hamill as the voice of Merv Pumpkinhead. Mark Hamill, known for providing some interesting, of course, Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, and then, of course, also providing the voices of a number of maniacal villains, including the Joker and the DC animated universe series, starting with Batman and the series, won't do many of the other ones in the same area. And also providing the voice of Hobgoblin as the Spider-Man series of the mid-90s. So, let's see. The Sandman has been warmly received by viewers and critics alike. According to Gaiman, fans' quote-unquote complicated viewing habits are slowing the process for Netflix's decision on whether to renew the series. Well, in other words, now you have to realize that you have to actually write for everybody and not just put in a whole bunch of woke stuff. Is that basically what you're getting at? Or is it that, you realize, making all these changes to these characters is not making a lot of people happy? The Sandman Act 2, and the Sandman Act 3 are all available on Audible. So there we go with that one. Whoever was here stepped away, and hopefully come back. Anyway, I'm going to step away from the computer for a moment, camera for a moment. I'll be right back. All right. Anyways, I'm back. Um, go ahead and see here. All right. So our next article here is the second of two exclusives um, from CBR here. Exclusive articles here. So here we go. Let's get going on this. Exclusive comicsology graphic novel channel Rocky Balboa in Night at the Belfry. Xavier Saxon's Night at the Belfry stars a 73-year-old man trying to recapture his boxing glory of his youth while grappling with a late life crisis. Yeah, it looks like they're channeling some of the more recent Rocky Balboa movies, Rocky Balboa and Creed and all that. Article by Jeremy Blum, published 12 hours ago. And then, and professional wrestling, you have a number of guys doing this too, like with Ric Flair doing it for a while there and all that. So, an upcoming comicsology originals graphic novel, Night at the Belfry, promises to tell a poignant tale about an aging man learning to face life changes. With just a dash of boxing action a la the Rocky franchise. CBR can exclusively present a preview of the story written and illustrated by Xavier Saxon. Night at the Belfry stars James Ransom, a 73-year-old retired postman and single father. Single father. Now, I wonder if his kids are adults or now living with his daughter Emily. James feels frustrated with his old age and dreams of the brief period during the early 1980s when he boxed recreationally at a local gym. Yeah, it does drop hints of Rocky-esque feel. Oh, look at all that. The preview shows James accosted by a mugger in the subway and dreaming of knocking the assailant out. After James returns home and meets with his daughter, he stares at himself in the mirror, flexes his weary muscles, and heads toward a nearby belfry, presumably to get back some of his old fighting spirit, in a decision reminiscent of the one made by the aging title character in the 2006 film Rocky Balboa. As the story moves on, James will connect with a former trainer and attempt to use boxing to regain control that he believes he's lost in life. Um, though, whether this will allow him to regain the feeling of his youth remains to be seen. All right, then. So, let me move on here. The inspiration behind Night at the Belfry. Um, the inspiration behind Night at the Belfry Quote, Night at the Belfry is my first book, and I am super proud of it. But it is not where I would have expected myself to start off in the world of comics, Saxon said. Unquote. Quote, I don't have much of an interest in boxing. I am not a 70-plus-year-old retiree yet, and my preferences in terms of fiction have always skewed more towards the fantastical genre-based stuff. Unquote. Despite this preference for fantasy and science fiction, Saxon ended up captivated by the visual idea of a boxing match in a church bell tower, and the story flowed from there. Quote, I developed the story. I became fascinated with the idea of applying under undue importance to an, in retrospect, insignificant period of one's own life, unquote, Saxon said. Quote, mostly through the book, um, though the book can came from a place of frustration, I wanted to finish something, and now that I have, I hope what I've made will resonate with readers. Night at the Belfry, written and illustrated by Saxon, is edited by Alison O'Toole, designed by Cindy Loam. The graphic novel is available on October 18th for Comixology Unlimited subscribers who can read Comixology original titles for free. So October 18th, so that should be, let's see, that will be a Tuesday, I recall. So anyways, oops, forgot to minimize it back down to 125. Alright, so that was pretty interesting. So now getting ready to move on to the last comics article of the evening here, as soon as I find it. Oh yeah, this one right here. Guess this one would be considered somewhat of some sad news. Alright, so anyways. Alright. Carlos Pacheco shares his final comics work following his recent ALS diagnosis. Pacheco, known for penciling everything from Ultimate Avengers to Green Lantern, shared his last comic illustration for Damage Control number 2 on Twitter, article by Jeremy Blum, published 4 hours ago. Comics artist Carlos Pacheco revealed his last comic book illustration on Twitter following the announcement that he had been diagnosed with the neurodegenerative disease ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. Some of us know it better as Lou Gehrig disease because this is one of the first people of note to actually get this was Lou Gehrig. Um, Lou Gehrig got it and died from it at an early age. His Hunter had it as well. Um, anyways, continuing on here. The cover for Damage Control number 2 shows a shrunken Ant-Man and Wasp running from unsuspecting mouth of Gus, the series' goofy protagonist who resembles a character from The Office, but inserted into Marvel's superhero-filled world. Pacheco penciled the cover, which was inked by Raphael Fonderis and colored by Rochelle Rosenberg. The issue hit comic book store shelf. The issue hits. I think it should say hits comic book store shelves on September 28th, which actually is today. So it was coming out today. Okay. Yeah, that's gotta be a little disturbing. You're about to take a bite of the sandwich, and you all of a sudden see a couple of tiny people on your running on your sandwich. It's got to be um, somewhat disturbing. Because this is from a Marvel title. Anyways, Pacheco previously made an announcement on his Facebook page detailing his diagnosis that has since been deleted. The original announcement, translated from Spanish by CBR's Diane Darcy, reads as follows: "Quote: Well, it cannot be. The final diagnostic has made it clear. Um, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's disease, aka ALS. It is what it is, and it is what needs to be dealt with. It's true that this is an unexpected turn of events in my life, but this doesn't make me feel less fortunate to have lived the life I have lived. For the experiences I've had, the achievements I've made, the people I've been fortunate to cross paths with. In truth, it's been a life that's gone beyond my wildest childhood dreams. Thank you, everyone who has been here. Let's keep going as always." Unquote. In April, Pacheco announced he was taking a sabbatical from comics after undergoing spinal surgery. Um, at that time, he tweeted, quote, "As some of you probably know, I suffered a paralysis in my right leg this past September. Since then, I've been visiting neurologists trying to know what the heck was happening. After receiving the worst diagnosis possible, we finally have discovered that the root of that is a compression of the nerve in brackets and a little and hard to see fracture in that vertebrae. So I will go a hard a hard dorsal spine surgery next Saturday morning. The doctors um, say that I will need to suffer a rehab that will last between 8 to 12 months. That was the reason why I couldn't finish my commitment to Fantastic Four, and now I'll be out of order during all this year after the surgery. Uh, don't forget me, please. I'll be back." And in parentheses there, hope so. Unquote. Pacheco is known for an extensive comic career that began with the Spanish language editions of Marvel Comics published under the Comics Forum imprint at Planeta de Agostini. Um, he has gone on to contribute a wide variety of Marvel books, from Age of Ultron to Ultimate Avengers, and at DC he is known for his work on titles such as Absolute Final Crisis, Green Lantern, and JSA Virtue and Vice. Damage Control #2 and Pacheco's cover on sale now from Marvel. So there we go with that one. See if anybody is in here. Is there anything to say about all this? Alrighty then. So getting ready to move on. Now we're going to be, of course, looking at more or less a lot of the. We're going to be going over some about 4 anime articles here. All right. So here's the first article we're going to actually be looking at. All right. So here we go. One Piece fans are being asked to converge on Times Square during New York Comic Con. One Piece fans will be taking over Times Square during New York Comic Con to celebrate the box office shattering hit One Piece film Red. Article by Hilary Lung, published 1 day ago. Times Square is going to look very different from usual as One Piece will be taking over the location during the New York Comic Con. Toei Animation's tweet urged, quote, all fans, cosplayers, convention attendees, visitors, and New Yorkers, unquote, to come to Times Square on October 8th to celebrate One Piece film Red. Their tweet included the hashtag one OP film Red NYCC that fans can use leading up to and during the event. That same day, Toei Animation and Crunchyroll will host a One Piece film Red panel where the Japanese crew and English dub voice actors will attend. This year, New York Comic Con will run from October 6th to 9th. So basically, of course, the crew of the Thousand Sunny, as it were, includes Luffy, who in English is voiced by Colin Finkenbeard, um, Zoro is voiced by Chris Sabat, Nami is voiced by Lucy Christian, um, Usopp, who's voiced in English by Tim Strait, Sanji, who's voiced by in English, his English voice is done by Eric Vale, Chopper, whose English voice provided by um, Rena Palencia, um, Robin, who is Nico Robin, who is English, her English voice provided by Stephanie Young, Frankie, whose English voice provided by Patrick Seitz, Brooke, whose English voice provided by Ian Sinclair, and then the other Jim, I think it's Jim Bays, I think is the other guy's name. His English voice provided by Daniel Baugh. One Piece film Red is breaking box office records. One Piece film Red is smashing all kinds of box office records in Japan. The film premiered in Japanese theaters on August 6th. In its opening weekend, the film ranked number 1 at the domestic box office and has remained at the top since then. One Piece film Red has already earned over $15 billion yen, approximately $108 million, overtaking the likes of Jujutsu Kaisen Zero, Weathering with You, and Ponyo. It is currently the 11th highest grossing film of all time in the country. The film is not yet released in the West, but the hype has been building. The University of Southern California's marching band learned songs from the franchise. University of Southern California, also known as USC, the Trojans. Oh, just for those who don't know what they're talking about there. In the opening season game in September, performances included "quote unquote" "We Are," "quote unquote" "Over the Top," and "quote unquote" "New Genesis," which is from One Piece film Red and originally sung by Otto. Let me see if anybody's. All right, continuing on with the article. The film is the 15th feature film of the series, directed by Goro Tamagotchi, produced by Toei Animation. One Piece film Red follows Uta, a world-renowned singer who hopes that her music will be able to fight pain and suffering. She holds a live concert where an enormous crowd of Uta fans attends, including pirates, the Navy, Luffy, and the rest of the Straw Hats. At the beginning of the film, a shocking discovery reveals that Uta is not only the daughter of red-haired Shanks, but also Luffy's childhood friend. According to a producer of the anime series, One Piece film Red is the only film from the franchise in which the creator, Eiichiro Oda, was actively involved. Oda acted as the executive producer and participated in the script writing. Yasutaka Nakata is coming on board as the composer. One Piece film Red will release in Australia and New Zealand on November 3rd, which is a Thursday, before being released in the US and Canada on November 4th, which is a Friday. So there we go with that one. Alright, so anyways, let me move on to the next article here then. Alright, so here we go with a classic. And this is something that's always kind of been all right, Robotech is an 80s classic, and Macross fans still hate it. Now, Robotech, of course, some of us who grew up in the 80s probably did catch Robotech. Robotech was a combination of a bunch of different Macross series kind of, mashed together that make one series. And a lot of this, when Westerners do stuff like this, it doesn't make happy a lot of the original fans, including some Western fans who actually like the way the originals were done. Anyways, though it introduced a generation to mecha anime, Robotech is hated by many due to its detrimental impact on the international release of Macross. Okay, by Timothy Donahue, published 14 hours ago. Yeah, I think from what I've heard over the years, there's been some licensing issues between Robotech and Macross, and that's why it's been hard for them to get some of the other Macross series um, actually to be able to be shown in the West as they are. Macross is still a highly popular, unique mecha anime franchise today, being second only to the likes of Gundam. Spawning several shows and catchy songs, the series' premise has made it uniquely endearing with its genre. The imagery of the original shows, in particular, is also emblematic of classic 80s anime, lending it to be used numerous future funk and vaporwave artworks. Sadly, Macross has spawned another far more controversial product. The original Super Dimension Fortress Macross was the main series of several used to create the 1980s American cartoon Robotech. Though that series is beloved by many who grew up with it, it's just as loathed for what it represents in terms of Americanization and censorship in anime. That's to say nothing of the franchise keeping Macross in Japan, making a series that many grew up with into the object of mecha fan ire. Mecha is, of course, a Japanese word for like giant robot. You may not pick up on that. Robotech censored and spliced three 80s anime together, which is what I kind of alluded to earlier. Produced by Harmony Gold USA, the cartoon series Robotech was actually an amalgamation of three separate anime shows, and they kind of did the same thing with Voltron too. There was another popular cartoon in the '80s, if you guys remember Voltron. They did the same thing with Voltron, in which they kind of mashed up two animes in that particular case: Beast Go Lion and Dairuger 15. Utilizing footage from Super Dimension Fortress Macross, Super Dimension Calvary Southern Cross, and Genesis Climber Mospiata, Harmony Gold used the skeleton of the plot from the former to weave together a multi-generational storyline about war with alien invaders. The transitions between show footage could be awkward at points, and there was some censorship done to allow for broadcast on American children's television at the time. Nevertheless, what should have fallen flat on its face as a story somehow worked. And the thing is, and again, we had tougher things back then. As noted before, in many Japanese, as compared to American cartoons, Japanese anime tend to be more graphic. They actually do tend to be geared towards more of an older audience, older children, older kids, middle school, high school on up. As I said, they did that with Voltron. The censorship and editing, which the word that came to be used for it was bowderization, was also done with the Gatchaman series. The Gatchaman series, which served as the basis for what many in my generation, knew as Battle of the Planet. Some just after would know it as G-Force. Now, G-Force, they more or less replaced all the original content back in, but Battle of the Planets was the one where they literally cut out a third of the show. They cut out so much of the show that they actually had to add in an element, and that element being Seven Zark 7. So that was from Battle of the Planet / Gatchaman. So, anyways, for many Westerners who were kids at the time, this was their first foray into the type of storytelling that would become synonymous with anime. Instead of the inconsequential episodic storytelling seen in many Western cartoons, in other words, where each episode would stand alone, more or less. And that's another difference between Japanese anime and Western animations. That Japanese anime, in terms of the storytelling, is more serial in nature, as opposed to more episodic in the West. Robotech had a sprawling, continuing story that built upon itself. Character actions had real meaning and weight, and the show's various quote-unquote Robotech wars felt like actual wars. This gateway into quote-unquote true anime enlightened a generation of children. But given its impact on the source material, just as many fans now turn up their noses at Robotech. Robotech held the Macross franchise back in the West. For the sake of quote-unquote purity alone, or purity, quote-unquote, alone, many fans of the Macross have issues with Robotech, with the arguably necessary censorship being one of the major sore points. Likewise, the merging together of three unrelated shows furthers the sentiment that Robotech isn't the quote-unquote real deal. The worst part of Robotech has nothing to do with the quality of the show itself, but rather how it affected its parent franchise. There was an ongoing dispute over the trademarks and ownership of the Robotech and Macross licenses, with Big West having claimed Harmony Gold had no rights to the Macross franchise beyond the original series. This meant that most of the Macross movies, and especially beloved shows such as Macross Frontier, have yet to see an American release. The legal battle was finally ended in 2021, with the later Macross productions finally on their way to the West. Still, many fans resent Harmony Gold for their keeping those shows out of America for so long. This was only made worse by the fact that Harmony Gold did very little with Robotech beyond the original series. Sure, there have been comic books, novels, and video games over the years, but it's never had a full-blown relaunch in the vein of other 80s cartoon franchises such as Transformers. With only the original show to go by, and said show being regarded as a quote-unquote poor man's Macross, Robotech is beyond redemption for mecha anime purists. It may have gotten many of them into anime, but it also kept other much better shows coming to America. So there we go with that one. Second of the 4 anime articles there. I'm trying to get up to... All right, here's the next one we're going to look at here. And before I do get into this, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment. So I'll be right back before I do that. All right, I'll be right back. I did camera there for great. Hello, third person. I'll be right back. I do have to step away from the computer, but and I'm back. And thank you for the like and the share. Who dropped in on that. That was well, I'm glad to see that. Let's see. And then getting back to the now to this article here. Pokemon Center rolls out life-size steel plush with massive price tag. So steel is a Pokemon. Um, the gigantic and adorable life-size steel plush is perfect for snuggling and can make its way to your home, but for a steep price. Article by Hillary Long, published 8 hours ago. The girl's barely able to get her head over the steel right there. Pokemon Center has got fans who need some extra emotional support, um, or those who just need some cuteness in their lives covered with their gigantic steel plush. The enormous steel plush can be purchased at the Pokemon Center for a whopping $499.99. What? Whoa! Holy. According to the online shop, the steel in the Pokemon world stands at around 2 feet 7 inches. tall, while the plush version measures at around 31.5 inches tall, which is approximately 2 feet 6 inches. It's also 38.6 inches wide and 39.5 inches long. The Pokemon World version of Steel weighed around 87 pounds, but luckily fans won't have as difficult a time hugging this lovable plush around, um, or lugging this lovable plush around, as it only weighs 16.4 pounds. There it is right there, folks. Steel isn't the only life-size Pokemon plush available online. Adorable first partner Pokemon like Cyndaquil and Oshawott are available for purchase. The shop also has a giant Snorlax plush that stands at 19.3 inches tall and weighs 2.2 pounds that people can sleep on, and a 34-inch long Lapras big enough to be ridden on. Okay. Unfortunately for Snorlax and Lapras are currently sold out. So, gotta catch them all, 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 Pokemon. As this ice water type is more of a ball shaped Pokemon than anything else, Steel usually prefers rolling as its method of travel. Steel first appeared in the 36th episode of Pokemon series Ruby and Sapphire, when the series aired in 2003 and ended in 2007. During that episode, Steel and his Pokemon partner Marius battle against Ash and Pikachu, believing that the two of them were thieves. Unfortunately, Steel didn't do much in the way of battling, as he spent the majority of the time clapping his fins, which led to Ash and Pikachu's easy victory. Ruby and Sapphire I believe that's the one that covered the Hoenn region. Pokemon was created by the Japanese video game designer Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimura. The two started a gaming magazine called Game Freak that was focused on helping gamers win arcade games. The duo soon got tired of writing about video games and decided to create their own, turning the magazine into a gaming company. In 1990, thinking fondly back to his childhood pastime of collecting bugs, Tajiri conceived of pocket monsters, small monsters that people could theoretically put into their pockets. Today, it's more universally known as Pokemon. Sugimori illustrated the first 151 original Pokemon. The franchise has spawned an anime series and numerous video games, with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to be released in November. The Cuddly Steel plush can be purchased at the Pokemon Center online shop, but hurry before someone else catches them all. Okay. Oops. We kind of forgot, didn't we? We need to shrink that. Not what I was trying to do. Oh, wait. Reflections of the way life used to be. All right, so I think we have one last article to go through. Then there's the there it is. Hour 22. So that's good timing. All right, so the last article that we'll be looking at for the evening. Spy Family debuts its stunning new opening credits sequence. Fans can watch the gorgeous opening credits sequence of Spy Family's second core, featuring the Forger family ahead of its premiere. Article by Hilary Long, published 6 hours ago. Spy Family unveiled a beautiful and heartwarming opening song for its upcoming second core, featuring the Forger family. Released on the Toe Animation YouTube channel, opening credit sequence showcased the Forger family and introduced the new characters that fans will meet in the second core, including the Mysterious Woman, teased in the countdown, sung by rock band Bump of Chicken. The opening souvenir contrasts cold and warm tones through the different scenes of the Forgers separated and together. The second core will premiere on Crunchyroll on October 1st, which is, of course, this Saturday. Spies, assassins, psychics, and found family. The second core of the action comedy series Spy Family teased a different tone from the first. Spy Family's most recent trailer revealed that Lloyd Forger, who leads a double life as the spy Twilight, had a critical mission from the Wise Agency to prevent a war from breaking out between the East and the West. He needs to stop a planned terrorist bombing attack. It's nothing someone of Twilight's caliber can't handle. But Anya's meeting with a dog who can see future shows, see the future shows that her father's mission might be a lot more dangerous than it appears. Written and illustrated by Tetsuya Endo, Spy Family has captured the hearts of many fans for the story's portrayal of a found family. Twilight has spent much of his life donning different names and personalities to complete his missions. His most recent assignment, called Operation Strix, required that he adopt the name Lloyd Forger and enroll his child at Eden Academy so he could get close to the leader of the National Unity Party. Not only appears at school functions in less than a week, Lloyd managed to adopt his daughter Anya, a secret telepath, and marry his wife, Yor, an undercover assassin, in that order. Although all three have their own motivations as to why they agreed to be in a fake family, they start to realize that it might not be so fake anymore. Before its serialization in Shonen Jump, Spy Family was already a massive hit in the editor's department. According to the editor, Shihei Lin, the draft received overwhelming positivity before it even reached the editor's meeting. Sales for the series reached 800,000 copies in 2020, with the second volume and hit 3 million by the fourth publication. As of this August, the manga currently has over 25 million copies in circulation. In 2021, an anime adaptation was announced, and the first core premiered in and core, I guess, means what we found out earlier from what I read, means season in Japan. First core premiered in April 2022. Produced by Wit Studios, who also has done Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga, and Cloverworks, The Promised Neverland, and Horimiya. The first core ran for 12 episodes and garnered high TV ratings. Official Hige Dandism sang the first core's opening song, Mixed Nuts, while Gen Hoshino performed the ending song, Comedy. Released bi-weekly, the manga can be read digitally in English on Viz Media or Manga Plus. Fans can catch up the first core on Crunchyroll before the second core premieres on October 1st, which again is this Saturday. Oh, there we go with that one. So we're all done with the articles here. So with that now, okay, so all right. So, anyways, now that we are done with that. All right, so now that we're done with that part, I think it's a good time to start getting into the wrestling roundup, as it were. Okay. Okay, so tonight's Dynamite had a few matches on there. I'll go over the results tomorrow. But Bryan Danielson was involved in the match with Matt Menard. Jon Moxley was taking on Juice Robinson, as I said earlier, in a world title eliminator match. Toni Storm was fending off the challenge of Serena Deeb in a women world title lumberjack match. Ricky Starks was in action, and Chris Jericho defended the Ring of Honor title tonight. So I'll go over the actual results tomorrow. But anyway, so for the wrestling wrap up tonight, of course, some news coming out of WWE. Of course, they've got some new championship belts coming out soon. New designs on some of the belts. They'll be showing those off. Brock Lesnar might be coming back sooner than expected. He said he was not going to be coming back to to WWE until January 2023. But the the day one event in January. However, it looks like he might be coming back sooner, as it's been stated that he might be coming back for the Crown Jewel event. Now, there have been for a number of reasons, there's been a number of house show cancellations. The Sunday Stunner house show in Elmira, New York, was canceled due to low ticket sales. And you've had a number of wrestling shows, both mainstream like WWE and AEW, and as well as number of more independent companies shows being canceled or postponed due to Hurricane Ian. So that's one of the big news points of is Hurricane Ian, forcing the cancellation or postponement of shows down in Florida as people are being asked to evacuate. As I said, on the AEW side of things, Jon Moxley was basically Juice Robinson was challenging him for a chance to get a title shot late at some later in time. Also, Tony Storm was defending her title against Serena Deeb. What we just found out was in a lumberjack match, and then Chris Jericho was defending the Ring of Honor title. So, and I'll talk more about that stuff tomorrow. Let's see what other AW news. Tony Khan allowed his employees so they could more or less take care of business at home. If they show that they did not want to go to the show in Philadelphia tonight, they were allowed to stay home to tend to their families, take care of their business. All right, so that's all I got for you on the wrestling roundup there. Then, hour 33. Okay. So why don't we go ahead and start wrapping things up here? Of course, don't forget this Friday. Of course, I'm going to have Rick Piper of Cross Comics and Timothy Olsen on to be co-hosting with me on our historical comic retrospect. Be taking a look back to we'll be continuing our look through May of 1939, looking over Quality Comic with Feature Funnies Volume 1, number 22. Anyways, today being Wednesday, September 28th, 2022, why don't we go ahead and take a look back at this day in each history. History! All right, so let's go ahead and take a look back this day in each history. Let me just get something here. All right, so first off, head back 15 years ago today, as on this date in 2007, Madhouse's Princess Resurrection would complete its run on Japanese TV on this date back in 2007. So 15 years ago today, Madhouse's Princess Resurrection would complete its run on. Hello! We're just about to wrap up here, so I thank you for coming in. If you can, like and share the stream, anyways, to see if we can get some more people watching. It'd be appreciated. And of course, you can always go back and get more of the news items as we finish up here. Yeah. So with that, on this date, 15 years ago today, Madhouse's Princess Resurrection would finish its run on Japanese TV. So, moving on to the next piece in each history. Coming up 11 years ago today. On this day, 11 years ago today. Volume 3 of All-Star Western number 1, All-Star Western number 1, Volume 3, went on sale on this date 11 years ago today, featuring Jonah Hex. Story was written by Jimmy Palmiotti, and Justin Gray, with art done by Justin Norman. Rob Lee did the lettering, and the coloring was by Gabriel Batista. Now, of course, this is, as I said, this is the third volume of All-Star Western. Of course, the original volume 1 of All-Star Western, was a continuation of All-Star Comics. back in the 40s, so back in the Golden Age, which eventually became All American, or oh wait, no, I'm thinking All American, sorry, but well, All Star Western. This is Volume 3. All Star Western Volume 1 was again the continuation of All Star Comics. So on this date, back in 2011, 11 years ago today, Volume 3 of All Star Western number 1 went on sale on this date back in 2011. And finally, we get down to the last bit of niche history here, where we head out. On this date in 2012, 10 years ago today, Columbia Pictures' Hotel Transylvania was released in the United States. So on this date, 10 years ago today, on 12, Hotel Transylvania from Columbia Pictures was released on this date. Gendy Tartakovsky, who's more known for his work on Adult Swim, made his feature film directorial debut with this movie. So that's another interesting tidbit of information here. So with that, guys, I thank you all for being here tonight. I always keep the streams up so you can go back and watch the content. Whatever you missed tonight. As always, if you have any comments or questions, always put them in there. I usually will try to respond if I can. With that, guys, thank you all for being here. And I will hopefully see you back here tomorrow. Bye.